So I want to tell you a little bit about my vacation I took a couple years ago up in the Adirondack Mountains. I was having a tough sleep one night and decided to take the family out on a little, you know, excursion, and decided to take them down by the railroad tracks and see where that would take us. And there's the railroad tracks right across the way from, I guess, where they cross the road up there at Indian Lake. So I brought my son with me. In fact, we had everybody. We had the wife, the dog, my son, myself, and we set out on this trail across from the railroad tracks. And these railroad tracks haven't really been used for anything. So I started finding some odd things in there. I found some like engine parts from old cars. Saw a lot of wildlife, um, big deer, and then I smelled something really bad, and I was like, "Oh, that can't be the deer. Can't be," you know. My wife is gagging. My son's, almost in tears, and I turn around and there's this big pile of shit on this rock, and I'm like, "Whoa!" It had like chicken bones and stuff like that in it, and it was it was disgusting. So we just got out of there as quick as possible, and I came across all this other stuff, broken brush, buck rub looked like, um, just like crazy stuff. Like what would do this to this tree, and it was kind of a little startling. Um, we were trying to have fun with it, and just walk this trail and tried to forget that smell, and I'm just looking, seeing all these different signs around me, like, there might be something here, and I came across like this bedding, and that same kind of smell from the shit was there, and my wife's looking at me like, "Oh, great walk in the woods, just smells horrible," and I'm seeing all this broken scrub around me. I'm seeing this bedding here. I'm like, "Oh, this is a big bear or something like this," and then come across like this footprint, which I don't know. It's just a mud pool, but it's like, look at the size of this thing. Stella, our dog, didn't want to walk anymore. We had to pick her up. This is thick woods. This was dense woods here we're in. And even though there was a trail, it wasn't really like a official trail, I started looking around for all the vegetation that was around. And then I saw some other weird stuff, like a makeshift like backpack, or some things hung up like they were out to dry or something like that. Some sort of weird things. Again, we were just kind of weirded out about the whole situation when it happened. And then it's like, the weird thing is, this is what, you might not believe anything, but the weird thing is right where that pile of shit is. We were trying to get out of there, and we came back by that pile of shit, and this was like right off the rock here, and there's like vegetation and grass started growing out of it. Like I have a few pictures here, and it's like you could see that, like, this is within seconds, of how this vegetation changed. Like, this is literally like under my foot, and I'm just snapping pictures on my phone, and yeah, that was the craziest thing. That I mean, out of all those things that was going on, it was this that was weird, because the smell was still there, but all this vegetation was growing out of it within seconds, and And you might not believe it, but you know, this is how the landscape changed right underneath my feet within seconds. So I snapped a few pictures, and you know, believe it or not, that's what happened. So we decided to go up on the road a little bit and get out of there and kind of go to like a posted area, you know, where it's a forest preserve, and we're on state land, and you know, we're not really just like out in there in the wilderness. And this is a beautiful place. I mean, this was gorgeous place. And then I got my camera to work, and this is what happened. See if I can play a video here. Here it is.
So, I think that's where it lives. I can hear him off in the distance. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Stinks, huh?
Yeah, it does stink.
You can hear him in the background.
Yeah, I can.
I think he lives right up in there too. What is this? We got to look at this quick before they get back.
So this is at the second location.
Oh man,
here. I really can't hear the
this
audio.
is definitely where it is. It stinks in here, dude. Oh, I think that's where he sleeps. Sounds like he's coming back. Let's get out of here.
So, I only have like limited space on my phone, so like that's why I was taking pictures before that, and I was like, I gotta get some of this stuff on video, because it just felt like a weird day, you know. So delete and got that footage before it cut out, but went back to photos, and I just was noticing around these areas, because of that weird how everything was growing so fast. It was like all this vegetation, this weird vegetation. This seemed like a site that was like been there for a while, you know. Well, you probably came across one where they were just passing through, you know. So there was some weird stuff, but growing really quickly. You know, believe that, take that for what you will. But here we're on a foot trail. We're like literally like on the foot trail. I came prepared, had my knife. I felt confident, you know, I could protect my family from what's going on. But it was still scary out there, you know. It was a nice, beautiful day. I felt great, you know, but there was still like this eeriness about it, you know. And every step we took, every corner we turned, there was more signs of this smell, and just like these little huts and things were, you know, like I think like a gaggle or a whole bunch of, you know, group of something that smells really bad that lives in this area of the woods. The little cubby holes, it was just the smell itself is I can get so close just to snap a shot and run away. You know, we kept on moving down the way of the trail. I started seeing like weird things that you really don't see in the woods, you know, at least I don't that often. You know, yeah, I mean, there's wind can break down trees, can knock down trees, but you know, usually they're kind of like rotten, you know. But then I saw this in the woods. This was the deal that changed everything for me, because I was like, ooh, that's funny. What is that? Looks like, you know, G.I. Joe fort. You know, there's a couple guys up there, you know, hunting turkey and stuff. But then there's that smell again, and I was like, this is, and there's no, and like underneath, the vegetation wasn't even touched, but I did see all these little like holes and knots and stuff in the wood and the trees, and started noticing them all around. And I think that's how they jumped around and got to different places without touching the shrubs down below. And there's a lot of vegetation there as well. It was weird. It was kind of a weird situation. You know, like I said, it was a beautiful day. We went out there to check out some falls that were there. We finally got there and you know, took it in for a little bit, you know. And then we started hearing, you know, some calls, like, because it was right there. We could actually hear for miles, it seemed like. And we came across this indentation in the ground, and I wouldn't think anything of it. You know, I'd think, oh, maybe that's just like a rock was there and someone moved it, you know. And I'm just like, well, that could have been, that could be, and then I started looking around, and I said, holy smokes, we're right in the den again. And this is like right off the chute, right where, everyone takes pictures of the falls. And I started taking pictures of this right here, and I noticed in the background, kind of looks like, if you look like little left to the corner there, it looks like a bobcat. But back in there, I got to zoom in on that. Those are things I need to get zoomed in on, in the back there. So, my phone didn't work, so I had to go and get a payphone. Lucky there was one near, and I just got out of there. And the sun was coming down, and even though they say the sun doesn't move, it was down. It was getting there, and it was time for my family and I to get out of the woods. So that's really pretty much all I have about to say about the story and stuff. I mean, there wasn't like the next day there was something. I think. Let me just see here if I could somehow. Let's see. I don't know if I can do it that way. Oh, here we go. Just hold on. I'm not technically savvy all the time. So there's a. Oh, right. The next day. Oh, I wish I really, really wish I could find the video I took of all this stuff. But it was just another like peaceful day out in the lake, Minerva Lake. And this is like over on the other side. I guess by the dam side. You go up there, that little way there. And then where you swing off, the kids swing off the swing on the back side. So over in that little cove little area, this must have been when I went out and got something from the store. Oh jeez. Oh man. Anyway, so there's a little mini mart in North Creek. Let me see. Alright. Oh boy. Hold on just a second. Sorry, by the way. Alright, so here's this is what I wanted to show you. So this is over by the swing over there, and it's this big indentation, and I was like, there's that smell. Again, it's like cat piss. And then this is when I got back home and started looking through these shots here of the day here. This is like stuff that I thought was overexposed. I put some fine edge on it. These are like totally white when I was out in the field, I guess. If you can make head to tails, any of those, have at it. Just wanted to put it out there and say that, that's my experiences out there. I wish I had more video.